So I'm really excited today to talk about a school project that we recently started with the Harbor of Life. It's called Broken Crayons, Still Color. And it actually started with a local school that was getting ready to do a service project, right?
Yeah.
And today, I'm really fortunate to have one of the students over here. And we're just going to talk a little bit more about that project and hopefully introduce it for other schools as well. So tell me about the service project. I mean, do you do a service project every year?
Um, well, in fifth grade, I think we especially do service projects every quarter.
That's really cool. And then this time, we decided to do it on Broken Crayons, Still Color.
Yes.
And I was really excited to be invited to your school to talk a little bit about brain aneurysms and what it feels like to be someone whose brain is broken. But let's talk about the Broken Crayon Still Color. What was that project like for you?
I knew you were coming, but I didn't know what it was going to be about. So when you came and when we did it, it was just really fun. And
Yeah.
when I heard that we were doing a service project, I wasn't excited. But I was excited when you came.
That's really good. So when I came there, I brought crayons.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what it felt like, cause I made you guys actually draw with the crayons.
Yes.
Remember that? We did 4 flowers, right?
Yeah.
So you weren't sure what was going to happen,
No.
right? So how did it feel when you had to change how you drew with that crayon? You want to tell me about that? First flower was just regular drawing, right?
I didn't know what it was going to be for, but I just tried my best. I drew the flower,
Yeah.
and I just drew the flower.
When did it become more difficult for you?
Probably the second step, when we had to close our eyes and draw the flower.
Yeah.
And I automatically knew I'm not good at closing my eyes and drawing. But when I looked at the flower, I thought it was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty good though.
Yeah.
Still looked like a flower.
Yeah.
And then you had to actually draw with the hand that you don't normally draw with,
Yes.
right? So was that hard?
Yes, very hard.
Yeah. So why do you think we did that?
To exercise our brain, but also to kind of get a feel of how you felt and how all people feel when they're going through that.
Yeah, when something is not quite the same in their brain as before, right? So we made everybody feel a little bit uncomfortable, but still we asked everybody to draw.
Yeah.
And so if you would think about what did we learn in that ourselves, what was your biggest learning?
I think my biggest learning was that I didn't know that they struggled that much after. I thought it kind of just happened and then it was over and they would just go back onto their normal lives.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was that much recovering and it took that much learning again.
Yeah. And that can be hard.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why we chose to do art was because art also brings color and joy in life. And we said broken crayons still color because sometimes when people have a brain injury, coming back to life is hard because other people don't believe in us anymore. And they might think that we can't color anymore that well. So by coloring all of you guys with your other hands and creating some beautiful art, you actually proved that it's possible and we don't have to be perfect, right? Yeah. So what do you think about brain in general? Like, did you learn anything about brain during that time?
Yeah, I learned that there's like I didn't know that blood like went through that kind of way, like through the vessel.
Yeah,
The vessel.
yeah,
I didn't know it was like a bunch of those, and like just one little problem could make such a big impact.
yeah. And there are a lot of people like me
Uh-huh.
who have an aneurysm in the brain, but they never know that
Yeah.
because they don't get any symptoms. And the ones who kind of get in trouble are the ones where it actually bursts.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about the bulging and
Yeah.
what happened there? And then it's serious, pretty serious. But praying, I think, is a really kind of a cool thing, and I think it's nice to talk about brain health because you don't have to have an aneurysm to want to have a really healthy brain. So you swim, right? And what else do you do for
I do softball, and I'm playing the guitar too.
Oh my goodness. So you do a lot of things that are really good for brain.
Yeah.
So did you say you play guitar?
Yeah.
So music is really great for brain. Yeah, there's actually all kinds of information already available to say that the brain responds in a really great way to music. And if you were having a brain scan when somebody plays music, you could actually see bright colors coming up all over the brain scan. Do you remember what else is good for brain from when we were at the school and we talked about what's good for brain?
Love.
Love. Yeah. So say more about that.
Love. The brain needs love because I think without love, everything is just sad,
Yeah.
and the brain needs to be happy to work properly, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And love can come in different ways,
Yeah.
right? So what are some of the ways by which we can show love to other people, even when they're not really close to us? But what are some good ways to show love in the world?
It can be really simple, and it can be like a big act, like you could hold the door open for somebody, like that's showing love. But you can also, if they are struggling with money, you can like give them some money, but it doesn't always have to be with money. You can give them food, you can give them clothes,
Yeah.
and whatever they need.
They kind of these acts of kindness, right? And sometimes it's just this, right?
Yeah.
Like you and me talking
Yes.
with one another. And why is that? Why is that so important to be able to pay attention to somebody?
Because without talking, or just talking through stuff, that I think we just get lonely, and that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. And a lot of survivors, people like me, who are feeling sad and not maybe very sure of how to come back to the world, we can get very shy and very lonesome. So just paying attention to somebody, I think is really, really important. So this project, what was the most fun part of the project for you?
Um, when we got to make the big flowers, we were like, we were just like, I think painting with watercolor is really fun, and then cutting them out, and then just seeing the all our hard work coming together was just really, it was just really cool to see, and it was also really fun.
So can you tell me more about this? So after I left the school, because I didn't see this part, right?
Yeah.
So after I left the school, you ended up painting just sheets of paper, is that, with
Yeah.
different colors? Tell me more about how it all came together.
So there were 6 groups, and one group was doing painting a paper with red and orange, and another group was doing yellow and green, and then another group was doing green and blue, and then another group was doing blue and purple, and then we did red and purple, and then orange and yellow.
And you painted with the hand that you don't normally use, which I think was really great. So, and then how did they become flowers?
We cut them, well, first we drew flower petal outlines, and then we cut them out, and then later we took turns gluing and putting them in, where you went from the in out and you just put the glue down and then you put them on the paper, and it was just like cool how it went from something so small to something like
Really big flowers, yeah.
Really big.
And they are such beautiful flowers. So what are we going to do with these flowers?
We are going to put them on your website, and we're going to make we're just going to make postcards.
Postcards, yeah.
And we're just going to try and make people's day.
Yeah. And so with these postcards, we are going to hopefully get them out to many, many people.
Yes.
And so what's your, I'm going to tell you what my wish is with the postcards. I felt very much that I felt very loved that day when I came to the school. But not just then. I've been getting all kinds of messages from all of you here from the class. And I'm just thrilled to see the work that you're doing. And I feel like it sends out a lot of really important messages to the world. One is to tell about the brain, but also to put hope out there. What do you want to get out of the postcards?
I want them to know, like, when they see it, I want them to know the message behind it, and that they should not be losing hope, because there are people that do hope in them, and that they should not give up, because we are all in this together.
We are all in this together. And so I know that for you this was also kind of a personal project, because you lost someone also for a bleeding in the brain. Mm-hmm. That's hard, isn't it, when you lose someone? Yeah. So do you feel that you are able to somehow bring this memory forward with this project?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he like?
He loved a lot of things. He loved cooking, he loved fishing, he loved coaching, and he loved watching football. And he was actually a high school football coach.
Yeah.
And he loved history. He really loved his country, and he especially loved his golden retriever, Marley.
Golden retriever, huh?
Yeah.
That's really cool. And he loved you?
Yeah.
Yes. So you are now remembering him forward, which is really, really nice. And it is hard to lose someone, but for me, I think what we never lose is love. Mm-hmm. And so maybe this project helps us all bring that together for many people.
He was also I think he was like one of my biggest cheerleaders, because whenever I would swim, he would text my mom and tell her that he was going to be cheering for me. And I know that he'd always know when I was going to swim or when I was going to play a softball game. And I know that he loved me a lot. And the day before he died, I jumped off the pier for junior lifeguards, and my mom got a text from him, last text, and it said that he thought I was awesome, and that he loved me a lot. And then the next night, my mom got a phone call, and that they were taking him off life support, so it's just really sad.
And you know what? You are awesome.
Thank you.
And I think he's still watching you every time that you swim and every time you play softball.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, and also all your friends for everything that you do. Can I get a hug?